Well, hello. Guess what? We're going to do something a little bit different today for the interview. I've got the guy that signs my paycheck, Jim Koloff. He is actually going to interview me today.
Wow.
Wow.
We're turning the tables.
Yeah. Is that okay?
Well, it's going to be okay because that's what
You
we're doing,
agreed to
right?
this. Yeah.
Yeah. And for the special occasion, I'm even sitting here in the Fox studio.
How about that?
As the interviewer, and you're the
Mhm.
interviewee, so you're on the other side of the table today.
Right. Right.
We could call it the hot seat, but you've done it too many times, so it's
It's
old
our
hat.
own little version. It's a special version of Fox 411. There we go.
It is. It is. So, we're going to learn a little bit more about Harry O here, maybe some things you didn't know, or maybe some things you don't care to know. But the reason we're going to be asking Harry some of this stuff is because we're celebrating his induction into the Iowa Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Well-deserved honor for not only all the years of radio entertainment that you've given and playing music that, when you started is now rock and roll history, and but now you're playing all those favorites again on the Fox.
Records,
Also,
Jim.
records,
I started playing records.
8 tracks, records, CDs.
Reel to reel.
Yeah.
All that fun.
But the other part of the of you that a lot of people know, but not everyone, is you were a DJ off the radio on the dance floor for many years, and probably officiated as far as a musician or a musical DJ, thousands of weddings around North Iowa. So that's a part that some of our radio fans and maybe even employees don't even know about you. So,
42 years of that.
Yeah.
And 45 years of radio. And then I was able to have a side hustle that really went along with the whole entertainment thing. So
It did.
It just was a chance to, I don't know, for a long time, it was a chance for them to, oh, that's what you look like.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
If I wasn't out and about, broadcasting from someplace, in a remote broadcast, well, they get to see me at a wedding. So
Yeah.
that kind of thing. But it's been very, it's very humbling, this whole, induction thing. Did not expect it when I got the call. I was like, really? Why? But I guess that's what all those years of hard work, and it was hard work. If we make it sound like easy work, then I did my job.
Well, tell us what it was like back in the day when you started out in radio, because it's vastly different than it is today.
Well, it's a lot different. Yeah. I see my hometown that I graduated from actually had a radio station, which is now Kiss Country.
Yeah.
Our other sister station.
Osage, Iowa.
In Osage. It was KOSG back then. And I went in and I just had my dream of staring out the window on the farm as a farm kid here in Iowa. I just had a lot of dreams and hopes. And I was just fascinated by the DJs on the radio. I just thought it was so cool. I think my first big wow, I guess, if you want to call it that, was how do those DJs stop talking right before the vocals come in for a song?
Wow.
Later, of course, I learned that it was a ramp,
Yeah.
and music ramp. It's all that instrumental part before the vocals would come in. And that's really what I turned my bedroom into a makeshift studio, and always had to go steal my my younger sister's stereo so I could have two, because I figured that out when I toured radio stations of 13, 14 years old, and there's two of them there.
That's how they do it.
So and I was even listening to Casey Kasem back then, and I could never, it's like, wow, he is so good. He can just do all of his talking and then stop right before the vocals. Well, editing, I did not know anything about.
Didn't know how that worked. Yes.
Didn't know how that worked. And so that's what really, I guess, that's what happened in the beginning. And then that turned into, and then I heard, Osage at a radio station. So I was only 15.
And you walked in and knocked on the door.
I knocked on the door.
A snot-nosed kid showing up looking for a job.
I don't care. Give me a janitor job. I didn't care. And
How'd that go for you the first time you were there?
first time I was there, scared. I mean,
Yeah.
I obviously I got trained in by some full timer there. I can't even remember who was there, but well, the owner, actually, I still remember his name. Fritz Carr was the original
Fritz
owner
Carr, the owner. Yes. Okay.
of the original owner of KOSG back then. And he, I knocked on the door on a Saturday, and he was there, and he showed me around, just like he was, just a probably an old guy like I am now, and
That's
stuff. And he
right.
just says, "Well, let me just have you come in and see what's going on." And so I started on weekends, just working
Okay.
on, and it was just mainly getting. There was no talking really. It was I had to get church services on, probably some big band shows that were on. It was all on reel to reel, But at least I learned something back then.
So you worked there for a while, and then was that a springboard to your career automatically? You knew that you're going to be great in radio, that you had a great golden
Well,
voice, and that you were going to be a big star for right away.
here's the secret: I got let go. Yeah,
Your first your first can job.
my first can job. I never got let go. So don't get any bright ideas. But I never got fired from any job in radio ever, except for when I was working part time
The
as
very
a
first one.
teenager. Yeah, he actually looked at me, and it wasn't this Fritz Carr. It was the general manager at the time.
Yeah.
I'll leave his name out. But he actually looked at me and said, "You're never going to make it, and you're just too creative. Why you would
Too creative. Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
How would you hire anyone that was just too creative, Jim?"
Maybe that was a secretive way of telling you didn't follow instructions. I don't know.
That could have been. I
Maybe
don't know,
that
but
was it.
I thought I was doing everything I was supposed to do,
Yeah.
obeying all
Yeah.
the FCC rules or whatever. But anyway, I don't
So
know. Who knows?
how'd you feel when you were told that, and how'd you deal with that?
I was
Having to be
completely
trusting. Yeah.
dejected. I was
Right.
just feeling like crap, and so now I'm like 16 years old, and the first person besides my parents at the time, they couldn't believe it, or whatever,
Yeah.
but they didn't make any calls. But I went to my speech teacher.
Okay.
And my speech teacher actually he did what any other teacher would do when they see talent in their students. He got me involved in speech contests.
Oh, good for him.
And
Yeah.
besides, and I some know the story, some don't, but I was his very first Osage High School history all-state in radio news that I
Wow.
went into. So he knew how to just kind of pump me back up
Yep.
and got me busy with doing stuff. And then he also is the one that researched the broadcasting schools, which ended up being Brown Institute. And
Yeah.
that's where my goal was to go after all of this. And and what a lot of people don't realize either, this is kind of funny because obviously a lot of people do know that I was at KLSS for 31
Oh,
years.
absolutely.
What
You're famous
people
for that
Yeah.
morning show position there.
Well, and I was part-time there when I was a senior
Really?
in high school. In the summer, I was walking beans and stuff during the day and baling hay and all that. And at night, I was jocking. I was a part-timer during the week. And I,
Well,
yeah, that was 1980. And I graduated in 81. But that's where I got my radio telephone permit.
yes. Back
And
then you
that's
had
why
to have one of those.
Yeah, I had
Yes.
to have one of those. And that's why actually officially I think started that's when I don't start my career at 15. I started my career at 17,
Right. Yeah.
at that time. So, yeah, hard to believe, but
Hard to believe. Yeah.
that's what
So
happened.
so
Then I
all
went
these
to Brown.
years, all these successes, all the people you've made laugh and feel good and help through their day, help wake them up, help them feel good through the afternoons now on the Fox and get them pumped up to get home from work.
Mhm.
What stands out to you as one of the prides of being able to share your time with all these listeners in North Iowa for these many years?
Because I was thinking it earlier today that when I woke up this morning, I was like going, I really kind of can divide my 45 years, I think the first 2 decades, the 80s and 90s, were a lot about all I had on my mind was making people laugh and just entertain at the best I possibly could. And, when you got a morning show, you were like, well, let's have fun.
Yeah.
And because I'm one of these guys, I can get bored pretty easily, and so the first 2 decades of my 45 years were just nothing but entertainment. Something happened when the millennium hit at the year 2000. Well, I lost my mom to cancer, and then we had 9/11. We went through all that, and that took a while for people to just get through to anything. And then I also I got sober 19 years ago.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, so I was thinking about this. I go, the first 2 decades of really doing this career was all about entertaining. And I think the last 25 years have, well, I don't think, I just know that it was all about relating to the audience and sharing my stories. I'm the first to say that we've got a lot of mental health issues everywhere. Everybody has some level. And I think people need to talk about what their life is, or what are they going through? What are they going through?
Right.
So, I went through grief. I went through, the grieving of 9/11 and stuff. And then the grieving of, well, not grieving, but just trying to, make a comeback and understanding, and going to treatment and,
the
and
new
getting
you,
right. Yeah. The new me,
the new you. Yeah.
And so I really kind of had 2 parts, I guess, to my whole career of that. And of course, something I'm still using today is trying to relate to, an individual out there, or maybe a group or anything like that. Like, hey, I get it. And this is what I'm going through. And my phone is still open for people that want to talk about, their addictions or anything like that. And it's been a life, let me tell you.
A great life.
Yeah, so I kind of take it, I think, a little bit different. I don't want to say that I don't want to entertain. I do, but it's different now. It's actually, I grew up, and hard to believe 2 decades. It didn't grow up. I just was making people laugh. And
Well, someone's got to do that part of it too, though.
Yeah. So I don't know if that answered your question, but that's kind of how I'd look at what I've been doing all these 45 years. And of course, everybody asks, how long do you want to go? And I said, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the next part, is how much longer and what's next? Is there something next?
Well, I think I want to say that I did one thing for 50 years. One thing. I don't know how many people can say that.
Not too many.
Not too many. Can you say that you did whatever you did for 50 years
and did it well to the top of the spectrum?
Yeah. Well, I wake up just like everybody else, I mean, some days you're ready to go to work. Other days, gee, I wish I could just stay home. But that's what vacation days are for.
That's right. Yeah. Vacation day and the occasional sick day thrown in.
Yeah, an occasional sick day.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, I tease Jim all the time about feel good days.
Feel good days.
I'm gonna call up and I'm gonna take a feel good day today. Do we get any of those?
We need those. No doctor's note needed.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Good for your mental health.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
But
hey, talk about some of the people you've worked with over those many years. Are there any characters that stick out, or any situations that you can tell in a public forum that might be an interesting situation that occurred?
Let's see. Well, I went from, we could go through the journey here of Wyoming. Sheridan, Wyoming was my first full-time gig. And that was, I got hired there. I was not even 18. I turned 18 out in Wyoming.
Is that legal? Must be. Anything's legal in Wyoming, I think.
Yeah. Well, they kept the drinking age to 18 for as long as they possibly can.
Oh, yeah.
They never switched it until the nationwide 21 thing, They didn't need road money.
Yeah. And there's no speed limit. And there's no speed limit out there
no
now.
speed
So
limit,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
But yeah, Sheridan, Wyoming. I was there for 3.5, actually about a little over 3 years, 3.5.
yeah,
And then I was in Grand Island, Nebraska. And at the time when I was married, back then, she just wanted us to get closer to home. So that's
yeah,
why I started looking. And of course, what was great about Brown Institute is they had a placement department.
yeah. You can always find a job somewhere.
Always find a job.
Yeah,
They could just, all I had to do was call up my same placement director that stayed there for years and said, "Hey, I'm ready to move on. Can you find me something closer to Iowa?"
right.
And then that's when Grand Island, Nebraska. When I went there, they just got cleaned up from an outrageous tornado that came through
Really?
and really just took out the town. So here I am. It's 1984, halfway through. And because that's the other thing, too, Jim, that didn't take long. It didn't take long to find a new job. You gave 2 weeks and then off you go.
Yeah,
It wasn't that big a deal. And anyway, Grand Island, Nebraska was nice. And it was like going to a brand new city that just got built
So,
because
so
they,
how did it come about that you got back to Mason City though? You're
well,
really your hometown for
yeah,
radio, not Osage, but
yeah, I
yeah,
was just, well, and that all, I don't know. There was something about Grand Island. I didn't like the job that I had. I was afternoons. I went from mornings in Wyoming to afternoons in Grand Island. And I think when my wife at the time, she knew I didn't like it, and it was tough finding friends, new friends, and all that. That stuff
yeah,
takes time.
yeah,
But we
yeah.
gave it a good 6 to 8 months there, I think. And I don't know. I called up my director again at Brown and said, "Hey, if anything comes up, if you can get back to Iowa, that'd be great." Well, lo and behold, it didn't take long. Pete Thompson called me
Pete Thompson, big Pete
from
Thompson.
KLSS fame and said,
Yeah.
"Come over here and work here." And I, uh, I took the job, obviously, and I replaced a guy by the name of Guy Dries. He was doing the
Okay.
morning
Had
shift.
he been here long or not long?
I think he was here maybe about a
Okay.
couple years. Jim, going back to those days, I mean, radio, I mean, people kind of moved on.
They moved on. It
They
was a
didn't stay
carousel.
forever
Yeah.
out. Yeah, unless it all depended, I guess, what the format was or whatever. But KLSS it's always been a top 40 station pretty
Right.
much. And,
Right.
it's just was a breaking point where you kind of move on. And then, anyway, got along with Pete great. And that's what started the Mason City radio thing was back in 1985 and started there. I didn't start right away, but I was on the weekends, I think, before I went full bore,
Okay.
which was funny because I used to work there as a part-timer,
Right.
you
Right.
know? So I
Yeah.
kind of knew, I mean, the equipment didn't change much, not even in 5 years, it was still playing records
Yeah.
and I don't remember because everybody always asks, well, do you remember the first song you played? I don't.
Don't remember.
I had
No.
no clue. No clue. I played so many songs. I don't know. They all run together after a while. But anyway, you know, I, I didn't really, it was a whole different morning show that I had out in Wyoming. This was, get on and wake up in fact, Pete and then also the manager at the time, he said to me, "Wake up this town."
Hmm.
Well,
There
I
you
think
go.
I did okay.
I think you did that. You woke him up in several ways. Yes.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and as we were even talking about it, and when Jay interviewed me from Kiss Country this morning, we were talking about the birthday calls. That was
Yeah.
probably I didn't do those right away, but I did in the late '80s, and those were crank calls that I made live.
Yeah.
It would make any GM/owner cringe.
Well, yeah. I don't even know if they'd be legal today, what you
No,
did
they
back
wouldn't be.
then.
Yeah.
I don't
And
think so.
that's
No.
how it finally stopped
Yeah.
because I did it for, oh, Jim, I bet I did it for 5 years. I want to say it was late 80s to early 90s, and then we
They
finally.
were legendary. Everyone knew about your birthday calls. All of North Iowa would stop and listen for them and be near a radio when they knew they were coming and try to guess who was involved with it, I think, and wonder about that. But do you have all those recorded? Did you save all those or any of those?
They might be on a reel somewhere in my attic.
Yeah.
But I didn't. That was the problem. I just had so much going on back then that I didn't have a chance to, have a recording going on at the same time. I should have, but
Yeah, because if you had any of those, it would be fun to relive a couple of those. So if you find them, I want to be the one that gets to hear them first.
yeah. Oh
And
man.
there might be people who recorded them and have them on a cassette
On a
tape
cassette
somewhere.
somewhere, yeah.
I
But
bet
what's a
there are.
cassette?
I
What's
bet
a
there are
cassette?
people.
Just like what's a CD anymore?
Yeah, but the people that have them know what they are. So
Yeah.
you
And
should
then
put a
hopefully,
call out to those who may or may not have any recordings of those, just for
yeah.
fun.
But
Yeah,
that was really, besides that, it was Alfie, my balloon, that
yeah.
and all that was my alter ego. But it was a conversation that I had with him. See, when Guy was there, I was told, I think it was, well, the people that come and go would actually sponsor his joke. He had a joke of the day.
Joke of the day. Yeah.
But we
Okay.
had to continue that. So I had to come up and I don't know, my creative mind said, let's have a character do it.
Hmm.
And that's how I came up with that silly little balloon named Alfie.
Uh-huh.
And he was a star all in itself. I had to carry a balloon at some of the remote broadcasts that I
Of
did.
course. Yeah.
And somebody then back at the studio would hit whatever I asked Alfie always had a microphone in front of him if I had him live somewhere. And I think, you know what? I think they had to pay extra.
For you to bring Alfie?
Yeah, to bring Alfie, yeah.
Separate talent fee for Alfie. Yes.
Yeah, it was, well, we
It
had
went,
T-shirts and everything.
it went for more helium is where the talent fee went.
That's what
right?
it was, yeah. But I'll tell you what, we had a lot of kids out there.
Yeah,
Kids
I bet.
had to see and they were just mesmerized by the fact that because we had a speaker out there,
Yeah.
people could hear and everything, but yeah, I think Pete Thompson had to push the
Alfie. He had to be Alfie back at the studio.
the play cart back at the studio.
Yeah, that took a lot of work to do something like that.
Oh,
A lot of
it was
planning and a lot of
a lot of
preparation.
planning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those birthday calls, were actually they were designed as flow charts. If you can go back in time and remember when we did flow charts before we had computers in school.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I did. I had the left side was if the conversation went that way, and then the other side was if the conversation went that way. And that's how I designed every single birthday call.
So you were prepared, or you tried to prepare for anywhere that call might go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And believe me, I remember some not going well, a lot going very well.
Yeah.
And it just it's just was funny how it all became so popular, but people loved I guess getting their friends to.
How about the most embarrassing moment for you in your career? Can you think of a moment that was embarrassing to you?
Yeah.
Something happened or was said?
Yeah, I probably had a few of them, but I know one that I remember distinctly, and every announcer that ever went through embarrassing moments always remember. I was in front of a crowd and I was doing a broadcast, and I think we were giving away a car or something, but I had all the finalists ready to go and I was interviewing them all or whatever. And my silly little stupid mind told a gal, oh, when are you due?
Oh,
and
no.
she wasn't.
Oh, no.
She goes, well, I'm not. And I'm like, instant red. And I was like, oh, gosh. But
Yeah.
I was known as kind of a butthead back then, too.
Yeah. So it just kind of fit the character of the time. Yeah.
Harry was a nut job, he's a jerk, what a butthead, but and there's definitely times I deserved all the crap I got, but it just it took a turn. Even the manager, who also was the owner, Hedberg,
Hedberg, yeah.
Mark Hedberg. Yeah, we had some funny TV commercials where I had duct tape over my mouth and stuff, and we tried to promote a kindler, gentler Harry-O way back when President Bush was a kinder, gentler nation.
Yes, yes.
So we had a lot of fun at my expense, but I look back at it now, and there's a lot of things that I wasn't sure about, but I knew that I had to have a little talk with myself back then,
Well,
but I had the chance to.
you did good. You did a good job talking to yourself. So,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. And then you came to Koloff Media. You kind of
Yeah.
transitioned from new music to the classics that you grew up with.
Yeah.
And you've been doing that for
Yeah.
us for many years, and your career just continues to flourish.
This is Labor Day weekend right now as we record this, but it was 9 years ago this month.
9 years ago this month, yeah.
And I remember you asking me, so what are you going to do? What do you want to? I said, well, I think I'm going to be a stand-in. I'm going to be on a trial basis to try for a job. I was going to be on some type of job interview type thing, and I'm going to host the Fox 500.
Yeah, that's right.
Remember we were just talking about that. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
and you actually called me and said, "Well, you're doing a good job. Just keep it good, keep it good. Everything.
Keep trying, keep going,
keep trying,
keep trying."
I was auditioning. That's what I was doing. Auditioning.
You're auditioning. Yeah,
I was
going to try you out this weekend.
Yeah, I was off the radio in Mason City for 3 weeks by then, I think, or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
A good month almost.
Yeah.
And I said, so we came on, and I don't know how many wool we pulled over people's eyes, but I remember the phone ringing.
Yeah. Well, it was our gain, and as a company, and we've been thrilled and proud to have you as part of our family, and now as the third part of our Koloff Media family who've been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. It's even a bigger feather in our cap to have you and your history, and Tony Koloff's history, and Bruce Wasinius, his history and his accomplishments, and we couldn't be prouder to be able to say that you all were part of our family and continue to be part of our family.
Well, and we should tell people too, Jim, this year will be, we are in the lead. From what I understand, I heard that we are in the lead for the most inductees at one radio station than anyone in Iowa.
Yeah, that's something to be proud of, I guess. And the Fox is a heritage classic rock station, not just in Iowa, but nationwide. There's not many stations that have been rocking like the Fox for so many years without a major change or a bump in the road as far as the format that they've focused on. And that's rare these days. Some stations are changing formats every couple of years.
All the time. But it'll always be classic rock. And, and even in our format, it's changed a little bit because obviously the 90s weren't even looked at for a long time.
Sure.
And now they have to be because, gosh, we're 25 years into the into the millennium here. So, it's been 25, 26 years since you heard the 90s. So,
well, what's great about this format is, it's Led Zeppelin and the Beatles, and it's Oasis and these new bands, and to a 30-year-old or 40-year-old or a 60 or 70-year-old, it all works. It's all classic rock.
That's right. That's right. And I see young people all the time saying, "Oh gosh, I love the Fox," and I love the Alice Cooper show. Was probably one of my favorite things that I did after hiring Bruce back. I got to put Alice Cooper on, and I'll tell you what, some of the best stories are on his show. He's he's a rocker that toured with all these people.
Right.
He was years.
He was there.
Yeah, he's not a disc jockey, but he definitely is an entertainer. That's
he is.
His stories are incredible.
Yeah. Well, we love the Fox. We love what you do on the Fox and are going to continue to do. So the greatest news is that Harry's not going anywhere, and he's as excited as ever to produce great radio. And so we're happy about that. And we hope you do it for as long as you can.
Yep. Well, far as long as I can talk, I'm going to probably keep doing something because, I mean, things are going to change maybe in 5 years,
Yeah.
a little bit, but I mean, I still want to be able to, if I can use my vocal cords, I still want to be able to use them at some given capacity because otherwise I'll be bored.
We'll always find a way for that. And meeting your father today, and talking to him a bit, I don't think there'll be. Your dad's 88,
Yeah.
and he's still talking,
Yeah.
and does it very well. And I think so. You've got many more years of using those vocal cords.
Quick story about him. I got to tell you, I'm going to go back to when I was a kid,
Yeah.
and I went to Brown Institute, and when I came home, I was only home for like a month, and then I had to ship off to Wyoming.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you what. So the background of my dad, and I'll be talking about this in the speech that I give, when I get the award. But my parents did not know anything about radio. They thought, my career path, I was too young to even think about that yet.
Yeah.
And of course, my dad, he thinks money wise. So he says, well, maybe you can farm, keep the farm going, or
Yeah.
how about real estate? How about real estate? Think about that, and I go, yeah, but Dad, I just really, and it was actually in the barn. I was pitching manure one morning, and I said, Dad, I want to be that guy on the radio right there. And he looked at me and he goes, why would you want to do that? He was really he downgraded the whole radio thing. And it's only because I understand this now after all these years. They just did that because they didn't understand it.
Right.
At all.
Sure.
But I want you to know, this is the fun part. When I started getting phone calls because I think I answered the phone, I don't know how many times, this is back in landline days, of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I think I had 5, 6, 7 different offers. Dad always wanted to intervene and be my agent. Well, you can get a lot more, if you go to take this job in Geneseo, and it's like, Dad, I want to go to Wyoming.
Hey.
Okay, well, whatever. And anyway, he was helping me negotiating.
Right.
Just a kid,
He's a businessman. He's a farmer. He's a businessman. He's getting the best price he could. So
best price he could. Yeah. I mean, a bushel of corn.
That's right. You were just a bushel of corn to your dad.
Yeah, exactly. So, but anyway, that's the funny thing I had to share about him because, and of course today, it's fun having him here. He lived in Milwaukee for a while. My folks lived in Milwaukee for a while, and that's where Mom passed away. And so he stayed and worked, I think, 2 more years till he could retire at 65, I think, at the time. And then he moved back home.
Yeah.
And then since he moved back home, then he heard all about Harry O.
Yeah.
His son, Harry O. In fact, it was so funny because he'd go somewhere and, do you know who my son is? It's crazy.
That guy on the radio over there.
My 2 sons, they definitely put up with a lot of that stuff because I don't think they had names for the longest time. They were Harry O's kid.
Harry O's kids, but now they are very accomplished young men in their own and fathers and husbands and
everything.
Yeah.
Wonderful guys. Wonderful. I got lucky.
Yeah, you did. You have great kids and grandkids and great family and a great career and now a great honor. So congratulations, Harry O.
Thank you.
Yes, well deserved, and
Appreciate
you make us proud. Looking forward to the ceremony.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, you're actually gonna come there and clap.
I'm gonna give a
yeah. There you go on the audience. So here we come, Okoboji. All right. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Harry O. Congratulations. Hall of Fame, Iowa Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee 2025.